Genesis 21. This is a little situation of how husband and wife should interact, so to speak. So Genesis 21, start at verse 9. Well, this is about where Abraham and Sarah, they thought they were too old to have a child. God said he would bless them with a child, but they thought they were too old. So they found a way to have a child through their maidservant. And God didn't tell them that to do it that way, but that's the way they did. Then he came back and said, okay, I'm going to send angels to say, we're going to bless you with a child. And they still thought they couldn't do it, but their Isaac was born. They were like 100 years old. Well, Sarah was getting a little jealous of the little slave child, and she didn't want, his name is Ishmael, him to inherit from Abraham. So it starts at verse 9. It says, but Sarah saw that the son whom Hagar the Egyptian and had born to Abraham was mocking. So they're making fun of Ishmael. And she said to Abraham, get rid of that slave woman and her son, for the slave woman's son will never share an inheritance with my son, Isaac. So verse 11 says, the matter distressed Abraham greatly because it concerned his son. But God said to him, do not be distressed that the boy and your mates, about the boy and your maidservant. Listen to Sarah, whatever Sarah tells you, because it is through Isaac that your offspring will be reckoned. I will make the son of the maidservant into a nation also, because he is your offspring. So I just thought, first of all, God said, listen to your wife. He was totally distressed. She was saying he's never going to inherit. God said he is. He said, you just listen to your wife, and I'll take care of it. So what did Adam do? Instead of being distressed with his wife, that she was all upset about things, he went to God. He went to God first. And God said, listen to whatever Sarah tells you. Just listen to your wife. Do what your wife says. And, pretty much don't worry about it. I'm going to bless you. And so I think that was a good example for me to look at that, because sometimes your wife says things like, how do you react to that? And even if you, especially when you don't agree with what she's saying, Abraham took it to God first. And I think even though she was saying something contrary to what God says, just don't worry about it. Go ahead and he was keeping peace in the household. And he showed Abraham how to keep peace in the household. And so a lot of times, and I myself, I'm going to confront, and disagree. And no, it's not going to be that way, without asking God, what way should it be? And God showed us, I'm going to bless your son, both your sons are going to be blessed. And that's why he was able to, because they shouldn't have done what they did anyway, but they did it. But God made all things work together for the good for those who love the Lord. Mm-hmm. So I just thought that was a good example of, because a lot of guys don't want to do what their wives say. Ponce is laughing. So, it can be situations like that. And there's a good lesson for me to, okay, well, when those things happen, let me go, before I speak, let me go to God first with this. And let him tell me which way to go.
That's really good, because I know that your favorite Bible verse is Ephesians, right? Was it Ephesians? Is it 5?
5:25.
5:25. But then above that, it says that we should submit to one another.
or 20.
You know, and in this case here, you know, he could have put his foot down. No, we're not going to do that. The thing is that he consults with God.
Yeah.
And that's what's so great about Abraham. That here he is, he's distressed, and what does he do? He doesn't go to the bar and go get a few beers. He doesn't do any of that stuff. He goes to God and he prays to God and gives God his problem, like Lauren was saying earlier today. Give God your problems, and God made his burden light. And he tells him, you know, listen to your wife. She knows what she's talking about. He could have been prideful and said, I'm not doing it. You know, I'm not going to listen to my wife.
And how many times do we bring our own problems on ourselves and into our marriages? Kind of like Abraham did here. Now, Sarah was in on the plot with Hagar, but nonetheless, at that point, Abraham, he didn't, but he could have said, no, let's wait and do it God's way. But they tried to do it man's way, and then look what ended up happening. It brought trouble. Kind of reminds you of David a little bit, you know.
Mm-hmm. And actually, yeah, it was actually Sarah's idea to do that anyway.
Was it her idea?
So he could have threw it back at her. He's like, well, you the one told me to do it. You know, that was all that. He could have brought up all the past. He could have did all kinds of things. Yep. Well, he's like, wow. You know, he's like, what do I do? What do I do with that? What do I do, Lord? What do I do with this? And he could have brought up, well, you made me do it. And, you know, all kinds of stuff. He could have put it back in her lap. He said, well, now you deal with it. You the one told me to go over and do it.
There's Matthew chapter 6, verse 33, as we started Saturday night in New Year.
Yep.
Seek ye first the kingdom of God. Mm-hmm. Abraham must seek first his kingdom. That's why he didn't seek his kingdom. That's why he has a little problem in that way.
Yeah, you know, so he didn't go to his friends. You know, like Pine said, go to the bar, have a couple of drinks, and talking with his buddies. He didn't do that.
And talk it out.
Right. Which will get you nowhere fast. Unless you got godly buddies. But he went straight to the Lord with it.